Hello everyone, it's Linda Ockwell-Jenner here again, co-founder of the Small Business Community Network with another SBCN Small Biz Perspectives. Just got that one out. And we have Steve Bentley, Northern River Financial here this evening. Hello, Mr. Bentley.
How are you?
I'm doing well. We had a really good video last week, didn't we? I had a really good chat. And I'm choosing the topic tonight, and basically it's from the Financial Post, Steve.
I love talking about finances, and I'm just back from a vacation myself too.
Oh,
so
did you enjoy your
vacation?
Did you enjoy your vacation?
I did. We'll share more of that coming up in the future, but it was a great time.
Okay, and wasn't it your birthday last week, or was that the week before? Am I out of the loop a bit?
2 weeks ago.
Sorry,
I can't believe it.
Okay.
Freedom 55. Freedom
Woohoo!
55.
Well, that's very important for our topic tonight. It's all about, buying habits, what people use to buy. So I'm going to read my notes, Steve, because I found this topic today is so bad. A recent national study by Square reveals that 79% of Canadians are card-first buyers. That means they use the credit card first, primarily. And 47% avoid shops where they must use cash. So what we need to know, what small businesses in particular needs to know, is how do my customers really want to pay? Me, for instance, Steve, I feel awful about this. One good example of how I never have cash, when we were in Paris earlier this year, I think I told you about this lovely cute guy who was playing a saxophone on the train. And it's amazing when you're bored. Well, I wanted to give him some money to say thank you, but I couldn't give him my debit card and my credit card because he didn't have a square. So basically,
my rule is I always carry I'm very much like you. I always carry a small amount of cash no matter where I go, because you never know when electronics are going to get in the way and you have to have another way of paying for something.
I am all card, seriously. I never have any cash on me. So I guess we want to work out what small businesses should be doing today. Should they all revert to, say, Square or other methods of, using, customers can use the card, payment methods like that? Mm-hmm. Or should they be like, saying, well, we want to pay with cash, our customers, what way should we do it, Steve?
I think you need to look at your business. I think you need to look at what you're selling and how you're selling it. And I think you need to accommodate pretty much any venue that the customer wants to use. Because you don't want to turn away business because you don't want to pay and deal with cash. We're not there yet as a society, although we may be, right? So Square is a perfect example where it makes it very easy for small business owners to be able to be virtual wherever they go and whatever they do, to be able to receive payments. You could be in your client office. Let's say I'm in a client's office and they need to pay for something. I got my Square with me. It can take care of that transaction.
And if you didn't have your Square with you, really what you're doing, Steve, and what I could be doing, is turning away our customers. And that's not what we want to be prepared for those customers, don't we? I guess it says here, as the average Canadian customer has only $46.50 on them in cash, and that's not me, and hasn't visited a bank or ATM to withdraw cash in 17 days. So if the customer wants to buy, but card payments not in the mix, it's a gamble to hope that we got enough cash. So cash is no longer king. And the Financial Post, as I say, printed this awesome topic, this awesome subject, and I thought, well, that's amazing, because I'm card only, and like for the Small Business Community Network, we have the Square card. We can pop it into a phone. It's amazing.
Right. Well, I think a lot of businesses being online too, they need to be able to accommodate electronic transactions. And I think if you look at me, you talk about 17 days since the last time I was in a bank, I would say it's even longer, right? A lot of what we do as an example is another method is e-transfers and doing like exchanges by email in terms of exchanging payments, right? Yeah. My son just got a new apartment, and I'm always the first month check and the last month check. No, it's just everything was done electronically right on the spot. Yeah. So you need to look at accommodating as many payment options as you can within your business, because you're going to deal with a lot of different customers who have different preferences, right? Still people out there that want to use cash, and they're going to go and pay to take cash out of a bank. Yeah. And I look at it and say, well, the debit card is another tool that is so predominantly used. And it can be a problem too, because you talk about spending, people using tap. and tap and tap, and they don't necessarily keep track of the spending. But that's just another example how quickly you can transact. So you need to be able to accommodate the different methods that are available for your business.
I get a bit worried. I attend a lot of networking events, as you know, and I get a bit worried when there's no online payment method and I have to pay cash at the door. Obviously, I want a receipt. When people ask for a check, I think, what's a check? I haven't written a check for a long time, I think you've got to keep up with the times. But again, let's think of the customers and the businesses that maybe don't need to use a card, don't need to use that method. I guess stores in the mall, maybe. Do you think there's an age demographic to this, do you think? Maybe people,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised at the people who are accommodating online transactions and using electronic communication and payment options, right?
I want to talk about the people who may not be and say, I want to pay with cash in a store.
Right.
Or, I don't know.
I was going to give you an example about people using checks, right?
Yeah.
There's still people that like to use checks, but as a business owner, that doesn't mean you have to physically go to the bank and deposit that check anymore, right?
No, you can
do that through your phone.
I know, it's amazing.
There's different tools you can use.
The only checks we issue now, you may know this, Steve, if an SBCN member refers someone to the Small Business Community Network, we offer them a check in the way of a thank you. It's a cash thank you in the way of a check. It's nice to give out a check at a network meeting versus say, hang on a minute, let me put my business card in here and transfer some money to you. That's the only time we use checks, Steve. But I'm thinking now, Melissa and I and her friends last weekend, remember the last podcast I talked about this? We were in Montreal and we caught the metro and only Melissa had cash on her, so she paid for mine and her friend's ticket, primarily because, this is funny, the machine was out of order, so we couldn't use our credit cards. That is a problem, isn't it?
I think it's a problem, but, I talk about small businesses too. I mean, there's so many tools that they can use to help deal with the payment options. I mean, something that a lot of people use right now, which is basically free for a lot of small businesses, is a program called Wave Accounting.
Oh, I've heard of that.
They can send their invoices online by email directly to their clients, and their clients can actually pay through that invoice electronically, whether it be an email transfer, whether it be a deposit to a bank, whether it be a credit card. So you got to be able to really try and be flexible to accept people have different ways that they like to tender.
It's easier for our bookkeepers and accountants to keep a paper trail too. I don't know about you, Steve. I think it's much easier because then it's all online versus, when I paid cash, here's this receipt. What do you think?
Well, there's always a paper trail. I mean, you can print out a paper copy of the invoice. If you ever want to pull it down, you got a PDF of it, and you can pull down the accounting information that you're transacting through that. But
if it's all online, then we're killing less trees, aren't we?
Well, I'd like to keep it online, right?
Think about the trees, Steve. Hey?
I have a client who's an accountant in Cambridge, right? Most of the stuff he gets in terms of bookkeeping from his clients comes through an online portal they have in terms of the software they're using. The software they're using in their office directly communicates with their accounting firm. Yeah. So a lot of that information from the sales and from the expenses and everything that they're entering or that they're receiving, they're sending electronically to their accountant as opposed to keeping paper. You should always keep paper according to CRA though, right?
Yeah, I know, right? I just passed that on to somebody. I haven't got time to do it, Steve. I'm too busy. Yeah. But no, seriously, I think the businesses who are getting in on the accepting card payments primarily are the ones who are going to benefit, and the ones who don't and still want to do it the old way are going to lose out, Steve.
I think they're going to lose customers because you need to be flexible in terms of, like, one of the things that bothers me, and I've seen it on occasions when you go, I went into a coffee shop in Kitchener once, right?
No.
And I wanted, every day. I wanted to buy a coffee, right?
Okay.
And so I want to use a debit card. And he says, well, there's going to be 5 cents extra for that transaction.
I hate that.
And I said, man, there's such a smarter way of doing it. You can integrate that if you have a fee or a cost, integrate it into your price. But you turn people away. So if you're not accepting forms of payment and being ahead with where things are going electronically, certainly in Canada is one of the largest demographics in terms of using electronic payments, then you can turn customers off. You can turn them away. They can buy something what they want from you somewhere else.
I will never have a second visit to a coffee shop or a small store if they're going to charge me. My local post office does it, and I go, okay, I will drive 15 to 20 minutes. Even though I'm only saving 5, 10, 15, 20 cents, for me, it's the principle of the thing. I don't think I should pay. And hide it well. I don't care, as you say, integrate it.
Well,
but
absolutely.
We didn't really talk about demographics. Do you think there is a demographic who prefer not to pay with cards? What is that demographic, Steve?
Well, I think it's our demographic, actually, which is funny because you're seeing more and more people who
Did you
are
say
in our
don't want to pay with
accepting
cards?
Yeah, they're traditional. I mean, they're born and raised, use cash. This is the way their parents taught them. And so they just are slow to be accommodating. So, but you can see it happening. But I think the largest demographic that uses it is the millennial. I think the largest demographic that doesn't are seniors, because they just don't trust their electronic storage of their personal and financial information being sent over the internet or being given to somebody in order to deal with something online. So that's where you see a different mindset. And of course, those people have come through a recession in some cases where, you know, it was really important that you keep tight control over your money, which is your cash.
Okay.
That's changed.
I guess another good thing for me is I'm a bit blonde. So first of all, I call a purse. Okay, you call a purse a wallet over here. I still get it confused. So the wallet that a woman uses to put her cash in there and her credit cards and everything, I never have any cash in there, obviously. But now I don't even need a wallet because I put my credit card and my bank card and any store cards in my phone case. So then I'm eliminating someone else in my heavy purse, which I call a bag. So that's a good reason why I use cards.
Well, it is a wallet. Both men and women use wallets, where you have a purse is where you put your wallet into. But the thing that's changed, though, is the ability through like Apple Pay and through some of the banks to electronically store your debit and credit card information on your phone.
Oh, Dave
so that
uses
actually,
his
when
watch.
you go through that and you want to transact something, you don't even use a card.
No.
You just use the image and the detail and the information that's on your phone already. So
Dave
a lot of young people just don't even bother with having a wallet and having all those cards.
Dave uses his watch. It's so cool.
See, again, there's just another form of technology, right?
Yeah. I think it's less hassle as well, because I've seen people, especially guys, put their hand in a back pocket, pull out a bill, a $20 note, and maybe two come out, one falls on the floor and doesn't even notice it. And how many people are honest with, hey, mate, you know, you dropped that. So basically, you can lose your credit card. You can use your debit card, but it's covered by the bank. You just let them know straight away. Whereas money, it flies away and you don't know where it's going. I mean, cash money, you know.
The banks are so phenomenal. I'll tell you a very quick personal story. Several years ago, I was shopping for school supplies for my children. And I went into one place, they accepted my credit card. I went into the next place, and they said, we can't accept your credit card. And I thought, maybe it's just the one-off, right? So I drove over to the mall and tried to do it again. And they said, we can't use your credit card, right? So when I went home, and that's why it's important to have another form of payment, right? In electronic cards, they'd be canceled or closed off very quickly if there's a problem. And so I saw a red light flashing, and it was my bank. And I picked up and listened to the message, and they said, while you went from store B to store C, somebody in Las Vegas, and of course I'm in Kitchener-Waterloo, somebody in Las Vegas tried to do a $2,500 cash advance on my credit card. So they closed the card off.
That's
so
amazing.
think of that technology, and I know Dave could speak to the security side of it, but it's such an integrated thing.
Yeah.
But people need to get away from the phobia of, I can't provide my information or store it online because people will hack it. You know, people can steal your wallet. You know, there's so many different ways. So you need to embrace that there are some easier ways, and you got to get over that phobia, in my case, of putting information online.
I got another example where you do need cash, though. But this is going back about 18 years when Dave still lived in England. So I only had a card. I had a credit card, and I wanted to catch a black cab in Birmingham, England, and none of the taxi drivers accepted credit cards. So this one guy trusted me to take me to where I was staying, where Dave would be. So Dave would pay him, which is phenomenal. But now most taxis, especially in Canada, do accept credit cards, have a machine. And Uber, I'm sorry if I'm stepping on people's toes, Uber's amazing, isn't it? Because you do it on your phone,
right?
And it's all done a deal, and you know when they're coming. So they're being very clever as well.
You can transact a lot of transactions where you don't even need to give money to the driver, or you have to give your credit card information to the driver. You really do it personally, and that just helps in the security side of it.
So I guess we should say thank you to the Financial Post for helping me out and finding me a great topic. And I think the point we've made is primarily, I think 74 or 75% of people, customers, do want to pay with a card, a form of an online payment. And basically, Linda doesn't like carrying cash. So that's a really good point. I think it's been a fun one tonight, Steve. Thanks for your time. And
I always love talking about finance. You know me,
well,
right?
But I'm a bit scatty. I'll leave that today. I like spending money, but I'm not good talking about it.
Hey, you know what? I can do that pretty good, too.
So we'll see you next week, Steve.
All right. You have a good evening.
Thanks again.